Have you ever been in a relationship where someone's words and actions just don't add up? One minute you're the love of their life, and the next they're pushing you away or lashing out at you in hurtful ways. How can someone who seems perfectly normal one moment, totally functional, and then in the next act so irrational or dysfunctional? How can someone who claims to have such high levels of empathy turn around and say or do such harmful things? I'm Lise Leblanc, therapist, author, and life coach, and today I'm going to explain why BPD relationships tend to unravel, and at the end of this video, why these breakups are so hard to recover from. Before we dive in, let me just say BPD is a complex disorder, and just because someone experiences mood swings or impulsivity, it doesn't automatically mean that they have BPD. Also, keep in mind that people with less severe forms of BPD and those who are in therapy can learn to manage their symptoms better, leading to more stable relationships. And where things are especially challenging is in favorite person and romantic relationship, where the intense attachment triggers the fear of abandonment. So even if someone with BPD finds a secure, patient, loving partner or favorite person, these relationships can still be extremely volatile. That's because when the person with BPD gets emotionally triggered, it can cause them to see you in a completely different light. From someone who could be trusted to someone who is a threat and danger to them. So this is known as splitting. And it leads to these extreme swings from being their hero and soulmate one moment to being the villain the next. And they can lash out at you, accuse you of abandoning them, and react in ways that are completely out of proportion to the situation, leaving you feeling blindsided and deeply hurt. As their partner or FP, these extreme episodes can also bring out the worst in you. Might make you feel anxious, angry. You might even find yourself reacting in ways that you never thought you would, saying or doing things that you later regret. Then you feel guilty and you replay everything in your mind over and over, wondering what you could have done differently to prevent the meltdown or at least de-escalate the situation. As time goes on, you might even try all kinds of different ways to handle things, and it seems no matter what you do or how hard you try, you just can't stop the downward spiral. Unfortunately, BPD relationships often follow a predictable pattern, and it just repeats over and over again. And this reinforces a self-fulfilling prophecy of abandonment, chaos, and emotional volatility that only deepens their fear of intimacy and confirms their distorted beliefs about love. In a nutshell, here's how these relationships typically play out. When a person with BPD meets someone that they perceive as a solid source of emotional stability and validation, so this could be someone who seems confident, supportive, and emotionally stable, the person with BPD can start idealizing them as a savior, as a safe person, and quickly get attached to them. In their mind, you seem perfect. Finally, someone they can trust. And yet in reality, maybe they just met you yesterday. And sure, you might be a great person, but even if the person they meet isn't great, if they offer care, understanding, deep interest, and validation, making them feel grounded and secure, the person with BPD can latch onto them in this all-in, all-consuming way, jumping in headfirst without hesitation. And it's this sense of safety, whether real or not, that triggers these strong feelings of trust, connection, and attachment, making them feel like they found someone who truly understands them, someone who will never leave. In the beginning, this intense sense of security opens them up completely, leaving them unguarded and vulnerable. They will likely be very nurturing, sweet, sexy, ultra validating as they pour all their attention and affection onto you, mirroring your thoughts, emotions, values, desires, making you feel incredibly special and important, almost like a mother who sees her child as the center of the world, showering them with unconditional love and devotion. In these moments, it can feel like the deepest, most intense connection you have ever experienced, as though you finally have found your soulmate. And don't ask me why, but it seems that BPD relationships often begin with some synchronistic event that feels like fate aligning, making the relationship feel uniquely destined to be. So to you, that beginning of the relationship will feel like fireworks, like an explosion of positive energy that lights up every cell in your body. It's instant chemistry, like nothing you've ever experienced before. They're attentive, affectionate, passionate, and deeply present, making you feel almost superhuman. And they may do things that feel like love bombing, but it's not to be confused with the type of manipulation that you might experience with a narcissist or the superficial charm of a sociopath. Now, if this intense connection and whirlwind of positive emotions could last, it would be a dream come true. You'd be walking around on cloud nine, pumped full of dopamine, oxytocin, and other feel-good hormones and chemicals, love drunk on this person's intoxicating attention and affection. As the person with BPD relies on you more and more, it triggers this I love you, I hate you cycle, where one moment you're their everything, the person who makes them feel safe, loved, and complete. When they're clinging to you, idealizing you, and doing everything in their power to please you, it's great. But just as quickly, it can flip into hate, where they start pushing you away, accusing you of not caring, questioning your love and loyalty, lashing out in anger, saying or doing impulsive or even abusive things. And this is what's referred to as splitting. And I'm not talking about normal levels of anger or upset here. These are intense emotional reactions that are way out of proportion. It's rapid mood swings from one extreme to the other with little warning. So again, 1 minute you're the love of their life, the other you are a threat. It's as though they are attacking you for their survival. And if you try to explain what's actually happening, you'll be accused of invalidating or gaslighting them, no matter how strong the evidence you have is. Once the shift happens, you might feel like you're under a microscope, because all the attention and energy that was initially making you feel loved, valued, and so special is now focused on scanning for the slightest hint that you might abandon them or that you're going to hurt them. More and more, the relationship goes from euphoria to emotional chaos. And you might be willing to do whatever it takes to get that blissful feeling back, believing that all they need is more love and reassurance. And you might convince yourself that the chaos is just a phase and that with more patience and understanding, things will go back to the way they were. You might think that you can handle it. But as the emotional chaos escalates, you may start to realize that staying in this relationship is costing you everything, your self-worth and your sanity. So as much as a relationship with someone with BPD can feel like a true soulmate connection, it's often filled with some painful lessons, pushing you to face difficult truths about yourself, your boundaries, and your definition of love. It's important to understand that once a person with BPD starts relying on you as their emotional lifeline, they will feel increasingly vulnerable and exposed to the terrifying possibility of being engulfed, abandoned, hurt, betrayed, and this changes everything. Now, even minor missteps or subtle changes in your tone or availability sets off huge alarm bells. And regardless of what's actually happening, your partner with BPD will react in intense, impulsive, and sometimes destructive ways that sends the relationship into a death spiral that's impossible to recover from, even if you both really love each other. After a while, the constant push-pull, the fear of triggering another emotional crisis, and all the harmful words and behaviors start to add up and take a huge toll on your mental health. So as much as you might love them and want the best for them, you might reach the heartbreaking conclusion that stepping away is the only way to protect yourself from further emotional damage. So again, this cycle often becomes unsustainable and so damaging that eventually letting go becomes the only option. But the trauma bond can make everything feel even more twisted, creating so much internal conflict and cognitive dissonance that letting go might be the hardest thing you'll ever do. You might even find yourself stuck in a state of anxiety, nostalgia, confusion, constantly going between longing for that intense connection you once had and realizing the damaging reality of the relationship. So you might find yourself questioning if you made the right choice, doubting whether you should have tried harder or stuck it out longer, regretting how you handled certain situations, wondering if things could have been different if only you knew then what you know now. This can leave you feeling trapped in a maze that you can't find your way out of, and the more you seek answers, the more lost in the maze you become. The harsh truth is that without treatment, a BPD relationship is destined to unravel into an endless and exhausting cycle of emotional ups and downs that get more and more damaging over time. But with intensive treatment like DBT, the person with BPD can learn to manage their emotions and develop healthier coping mechanisms and break free from destructive behaviors and relationship patterns. If you found this information helpful, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe. And to learn more about the do's and don'ts when navigating a relationship with a partner who has BPD, please click on the link above.